Right, so the rear axle swivel bushes are baggy. You can see them rattling about everywhere, both sides as well. So when you're driving a car, it handles all right as far as you can feel. But there's just a little knock on one side. One side's a little bit more than the other, but we're going to do both. So I've ordered 2 bushes. They're these big fat bushes. They come in a couple of days, but these are going to be a nightmare to get out. I've read a lot on the forums, and apparently it's a pain in the arse. So we're going to try and get them out, press the new ones back in. I haven't got the bush removal tool, insertion tool, so we might have to make something. Just see how we go with it and see if we can do it or not. Might fail. Hopefully get through it and we don't damage the axle at all. That's the main priority. It looks like you have to support the axle and drop the bracket down from the car, otherwise when you try and remove the bolt from the bush, it'll foul on the car. So it's just the orientation of the bolt. If it was the other way around, it would come straight out, but because the way it's put in, it fouls on it. So we have to drop that down so it's clear, so we can take that out and then see where we go from there. So see how it goes. Right, so I've got it on stands. I've got the trolley jack in for extra support, and I've put the other jack on the axle just to take the weight for now. So this is the bush that we need to replace, and this is the bolt you got to remove, and this is the bracket. So yeah, let's crack on. Right, so first I've took off these little dampers off the back, off both sides. So now the weight of the axle's on that jack. So when we unbutton this bracket, we can just pivot it back and forward. We can just pop these springs out now. So I'm just going to show you this quickly before I take the last bolt out. So I've took these bolts out, but I've scored the face underneath. You can see the shiny bit there, just so it goes back up the exact same way it came off, and I've scored around the edge here as well, and the other edges. So as you can see, where is it? Scored around that as well. So when we put it back up, it all goes back up nice. Right, so decided I'm going to take the whole axle off so I can get more access to these and just drag the whole thing into the garage. So to do that, you've got to remove the handbrake cable. There's this bracket off the back of the caliper. This bracket that's attached to here on the rear axle, and then the brake line there. You do that on both sides, and then drop it all down. Right, so the rear axle's out, and it's in the garage. So now we just these bushes have got like a shape on them, and they've got to go in the right way. So we're just gonna mark up these edges, as Jason's doing now, so they go back in the exact same way. So it's out, but I'll tell you something now, I never ever want to do this again. Where's the light so you can see? Destroyed. You can see how destroyed it is. So what we did is cut all this rubber bit off one side and just tap these this metal bit up out the way with some chisels, and just hammer, brute force basically. Every time we got it moving a bit, we just squirted the old WD in and soaked it, and just kept going and kept going until it came out. and it's out. Hope the other one's the same. Right, so sorry about the hammering away in the background, but fucking hell, focus. You see there's a little chamfer, this raised bit, so half of it's raised bit, and then it drops down here. So I think the key is, when you start tapping this side in, sort of bend this side in all the way around, so you take a bit more pressure off this pot, and then when you're tapping it out from this side, once you're clear from this bit, then it's just going to fall out. So I think that's the technique if you're just smashing it with a hammer and not doing it properly. Right, she's coming. Get it. Nice. Right, so I've got it in and it's all nice and flush. We ended up buying a proper tool at the end because you could smash it in, but it just picks up, it gets stuck, so it's not worth it. You just got to invest in the tool. This one's a fairly cheapish one, about 60 quid. I think there's a few for like 30 quid, but I don't know how good they are. This isn't great. Like this cutout, this is just a one-off eBay. It doesn't really fit perfect, so it does want to go at a bit of an angle sometimes, so that's why I haven't really filmed it, because it took a long time to get it all in there nice and sweet, but it's in there now. So yeah, job done. I'm gonna get this axle back on the car. Right, so I've got both bushes in, you can see there, nice snug fit. The tool wasn't great, but it got them in, and that was like a 70 quid tool, so it wasn't the most expensive. And then we fitted these brackets back on both sides. We'd scored the inner side where the bolt goes in, so you could sort of marry it up nice the way it came off. Now we just got to try and lift it up and tighten these center bolts up. So tighten it up, basically torque it up when it's at its ride height, so we limit the amount of flex on the bush when it's actually driving afterwards, so it's not twisted. So I'm gonna do that. We've got where we think it would sit when it's in normal condition, when it's down, but it's up, and we've just jacked it underneath the hub. I don't know if you can see, that's sort of where it's aligned with, and you can see, hold on, right, and that's what it looks like.